friends, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, welcome to my channel. My name is Jackie and let's get started. For DIY number one, we're going to take these two crates from the Dollar Tree and one of their very sharp utility knives from the tool bench section. And so you're just going to push down, and it slices pretty easily because it's just balsa wood, but since it is still wood, it might take a few tries and some strength. And also score the bottom portion where the side piece connects to the base. And again, it's going to take a few tries, but just keep working at it and wiggle it until it finally just pops off. And once it pops off, then I'll do the second one the same. And so now I'll go in with some of the Aleene's tacky glue that I really like for my wood projects. And I've had a lot of really good results with it, so I just continue to use it for all my wood projects. And so I'll just attach them together, and I'll also go in with some hot glue to reinforce the inside portions of it. So I'll do both of the sides and the middle inside as well. So it's all nice and secure. And now I'll just go in with some Waverly chalk paint in the color plaster and get it all painted, all the sides and the bottom. And now I'm going to take 3 of these arrows, these wooden arrows from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to remove all the stickers and rope. And don't throw away the rope because you can use that for another project. And I'm going to go in with some of this Minwax wood filler to fill in my holes. The smaller arrows has 2 holes where the rope was through it. The other 2 arrows, they didn't have any holes, so I don't have to worry about that. So I'll just add the wood filler and let it dry, and then grab some sandpaper and sand it smooth and get it ready for painting. So let me clean up my little area real quick, keep my little ladybug nearby. And so I'm going to go in with some Waverly antique wax, and now they're nice and painted and cute. I'm going to begin to adhere these arrows onto my box, my double little crate. And so I'm going to add a couple beads of glue and put these against the back of the crates. And then the center arrow, the smaller arrow, I don't want it to be flush with the other 2, so I wanted to give it a little bit of dimension. So I'm going to add a couple of these tumbling tower blocks on the bottom, and I'll add one more to raise it one more little like level or layer. And so now I can add a bead of glue and add it to the back of the crates, and now it's a little bit more of a dimension. You can see there one is a little higher, or I should say sticking out a little bit more. And so now I'm going to add some more hot glue because the center one is not very stable. And so now that it's nice and secured and it's not going to go anywhere, I'm going to grab some of these craft sticks, these jumbo ones. And I get these from Walmart. Sometimes Dollar Tree has them, but usually just get them from Walmart. And I'm going to snip off all the rounded ends. I don't need them. And so these craft sticks, they're going to become the roof line to my little arrow houses. As you can see here, so cute. But they're still a little bit too long, so I'll trim off a little piece, and I'll use that one to guide me and let me trim off the rest. And so I'll go ahead and begin to glue all these craft sticks onto my little roofs, or should I say roofs, of my 3 little houses. So first we'll do this side on the left, and then we'll do the next side to this one until it forms a little roof, a little peak. And look how cute it's looking. Oh my goodness, so cute. And I'll go ahead and do to the other 2. And so now that they all have the little roofs, now we're going to get some floral foam, and I'll add a small piece in the center and a couple of thicker pieces on the sides. And I do end up adding a smaller piece behind the center house. I don't film it, I did it later on, but it will be useful, so I do add a smaller piece on the back of the center little house. And so you'll see why in a little bit why. And once all my floral foam is nice and adhered, I'm going to go in with some Waverly paint, chalk paint in the color plaster. And I should have done this before, but I'm just now distressing my little houses. And I don't know why I didn't do it earlier, but you're gonna see right here where I make a big mess. Look at this. Oh no. No, it's not good. But don't worry, I'll fix it. Let me show you what you do if you ever make a mess like this. So rule number 1, do all your distressing before you put all your projects together. That's rule number 1. And I don't know why I didn't think of it. I don't know where my brain was, but I went in with some more of the antique wax, and then I went in with my little sandpaper, and I worked it until I finally got it to where I liked it. And also my little double crate box, I forgot to distress that as well. Yes, I had a lot of distractions that day, but yeah, I don't want to make excuses. One of my sons used to always say when he was a teenager, don't make excuses, make improvements. And I thought, oh my goodness, you are just too wise, boy, too wise. So instead of making excuses, I'm going to make improvements and distress all my crate. And using my Cricut, I cut out this Home Sweet Home, and it was in the design space, so you can get it from the design space. And it's this really cute little saying, just says Home Sweet Home. And I'm going to add it to the center little house, because the center of our house is a home sweet home. And so here, I just take the transfer tape off, and it's looking cute. Helps hide the mess up too. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with some of my florals, and I've got a variety of florals, some from the Dollar Tree and some from Walmart. And I actually arranged these flowers off camera. And so now I'm taking one of these windmills from the Dollar Tree, and I tried a variety of ways to remove this thing, but the only way that worked for me was by moving this back and forth. So I just moved it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until it finally let go. And you can see here, oh my goodness, finally one side let go, and then a little twisting motion, and then the other side finally let go. And now I need something to make the windmill a little higher, so I'm going to utilize some trash, and these are the ends of my florals, the pieces that we cut off and we throw away. Well, I decided, hey, why don't I just wrap the ends around the base of this windmill, and then that way I can just poke these bottoms onto the back and hold it up a little higher. So I decided to just try that, and let's see if it works. So I poke it in, and then look, it worked. It totally worked. And now I'll utilize the welcome piece that's also metal, and I'll just hot glue that to my double crates in the front. And be careful, this part is going to be hot when you add the hot glue to metal, so be careful. But look, she is done. What do you guys think? And now a little bit about today's challenge. It's a DIY challenge, and it's hosted by Heidi Sonboul DIY, and I'll leave all her links in my description box below. But she has a fantastic channel. She has lots of content. She's so talented. She's so generous, and she is just wonderful. I can't even express. But today's theme is farmhouse. Okay, so on to number 2. DIY number 2, I've thrifted this board, and it was $1.99, and it's an MDF board, and it brought the little hooks on the back and the rope on the top, and then this little hanger thing, and it was just taped on there with no screws, but I think I can find screws. So I'm just going to remove this price tag, and I'm going to go in with my sandpaper and try to sand everything nice and smooth, because it looked like something was there and it was all pretty rough. Once I get it all cleaned up, then I'll go in with some of the Waverly chalk paint in the color plaster, and then I'll just paint this. Once painted and dried, I learned my lesson from the other project, and I'm going to go ahead and distress right now. So I'm taking my little chippy brush and some of the Waverly antique wax and do my distressing. And what I really like about this board is that it has some texture on it, and it comes through when you do a little bit of the distressing. And I'll show you right here. I'll get up close and show you. Look, it's looking cute, except for that little bottom portion. But that's okay, I'll fix that. I'll just take my little brush that's got the plaster paint and go over it a couple times until I'm happy with it. And there you go. Okay, so now I'm taking one of these wall decals from the Dollar Tree, and this one just says "Love Grows Here." And I thought it was just so cute. And it is a little bit of a challenge to remove off the backing. But once you get it off, then we're good to go. So just remove it. Just take your time to remove it. You don't want to rip it. And so it's just a matter of placing it on, centering it, and smoothing it out. And look how cute. And now, of course, I'll go in with some Mod Podge, some of the matte Mod Podge. And I'll use this to get rid of the shininess of the decal, of the sticker. I want it to look matte with the rest of the board. And once it's all dry, then I'll turn it over and attempt to put my little hanger back on. So I decided to use a little bit of hot glue to help put it in place. And then I'll add my little screws. I found some little screws, and so they fit in there perfectly. And that's it. I'm done. For DIY number 3, I'm taking some of these wood planks, and I'm taking 5 of them. And so I'm taking one, and I'm going to measure the width of the plank. So I'm going to measure 2 widths out of the one plank. And so I'm going to create a cube, but it's going to be a long rectangular cube. So these 2 pieces will become the ends, the 2 ends of the cube. So first I'm going to use my little saw from the Dollar Tree, my little hacksaw, and it works okay, but I don't got time for that. I quit that quick. So I went back to get my sharp utility knife. This is also from the Dollar Tree, and I'll just do the scoring technique. I'll just score until it just pops right off. And I'll do this to both pieces. And so now I'm ready to just sand and remove any of the little splinters that may have occurred and get that nice and smoothed out. Get ready for painting. And now I'll go in with some Waverly chalk paint in the color Elephant, and I'll paint these real quick. And now I'll begin to assemble them. And all I'm going to use this time is just hot glue, because I need them to adhere quickly. So I'll just start assembling, and any unfinished edges, don't worry, we'll go over it with some of the elephant paint as well. And once I get the 3 sides glued together, then I'll go ahead and add my end pieces, the pieces that I had cut. So I'll hot glue those on, and I'll do both sides, and then I'll finally add the top piece. Once I get everything glued and secured and get all the sides done, then I'll go ahead and go in with some more of the elephant paint and take care of all the unfinished edges. And I'll just brush it real quick and get it all nice and done. and I'm going to make sure not to forget to distress it. So I'm going to go in with some of the plaster chalk paint again, and I'm just going to use my chippy brush and distress this whole, it's like a long cube. I can't say cube because cube is equal sides, but okay, we'll just call it a block. It's like a long block, rectangular block. And once this rectangular block is all distressed and finished and dry, then I'm going to create a cut file from the design space with my Cricut, and I'm going to use these words: farmhouse, home, blessed, and welcome. And all I'm going to do is just add them to each of the sides, so it'll be a block that you can literally flip around. So instead of using those foam blocks, which we've all done before, this will be a wooden block. And so I'll begin with the welcome, and then do the blessed, and then do the farmhouse, and last but not least, home. And for my fourth and last DIY, I'm going to take 2 of these square planks of wood from the Dollar Tree, from the crafter square, but I end up just using the one, and I'm going to go in with this hazelnut paint from Waverly, this chalk paint, and get it all painted. And once it's dry, I'm going to distress it with my chippy brush that has the plaster Waverly chalk paint, and I'm just going to go around and distress this front portion. And once that's dry, then I'm going to go in with another vinyl decal that I created with my Cricut from the design space. And let me tell you, this little thing is so difficult to weed. Oh my goodness. It was such a challenge. I almost gave up a couple times because there's just some really tiny little lines and tiny letters and swirlies and but I pushed through it and I did it. So this is definitely my last DIY of this video. This one just about got the best of me here. So now that I have it in place, I'm going to then just remove the transfer tape, and look how cute. And now I'm going to take this dowel, this wooden dowel from Walmart, and I'm taking my miter shears, and I'm just going to snip off a piece that I need. And I'm also going to take some of this faux leather ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to snip off a good, I want to say it's a good 1.5 inches of it or so. And so I'll do 2 pieces the same size. And now it's super easy to assemble. I just need to add a little dab of glue and press my little faux leather ribbon, and the same on the other side. Flip it over, do the same thing, add a little dab of glue and press it down, and then flip it back and get my little dowel and put that through the 2 faux leather ribbon, and then get a piece of jute twine or rope and tie that to the wooden dowel. And now I'm just taking 2 black thumbtacks that I removed the pointy end, and I'm just going to hot glue these to the fronts of the faux leather ribbon, and I'm done. Look how cute. I'd like to take a moment and thank Heidi Sonboul for hosting this DIY challenge. And after you're done viewing this video, please go to my description box or in my comments and you'll see the playlist, and please view that. There's lots of talent there, lots of wonderful participants. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. It would really help my new crafting channel to grow. And until my next video, stay healthy, safe, and strong, and have a great, great day. Bye-bye.